Welcome to the Sunday service at CSLN. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family. The Center for Spiritual Living Nashville offers spiritual tools for anyone seeking a more fulfilled and meaningful life through a deeper connection with a higher power or universal truths. Be sure to subscribe below if you enjoy our programs. Now let's join today's service.
Good morning. Thanks. Hi, I'm Marietta Carter. I'm a practitioner, a member of the Board of Trustees, but most importantly, I'm your host today for the service. So welcome to Sunday morning at the Center for Spiritual Living Nashville. I would also like to welcome all of those who are watching online and to invite you to join us here in person at the Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Our speaker today is Travis Winden. He's a master teacher of Edwin Gaines Prosperity class, and for anybody online and for everybody here, he's doing a workshop after this, so you can go ahead and listen to our service, get in your car, and come on and make his workshop. I'd also like to welcome a beloved member of our community, Yvonne Smith. Yeah. So if you're wondering, who are we? We are an inclusive, open, spiritual community for anyone seeking a deeper understanding of God. So if you've never been to a Center for Spiritual Living before, we believe that there is one God. There's many paths to that God, and we are here to love, honor, and support you wherever your divine path is. The Center for Spiritual Living Nashville is a safe haven for people of all beliefs and lifestyles. So wherever you find yourself on your life journey, you are welcome here. Thank you for showing up. So, welcome to our center, and let's begin our service. And now I invite you, just to take in a deep breath. I invite you to close your eyes, kind of just get nestled in your seat, and just breathe in. And as you breathe in, think of goodness, think of life, think of love. I invite you to place your hand over your heart and feel that power, that creative life force that is within you. This life force created the heavens, the stars, and the earth, and it is still creating so much now. I invite you to know with me that there is only one life. That life is God, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. That life is your life right now. So know with me that we can never be separate from Source. Know with me that CSL community is a beacon of light and love, and I invite you, dear hearts, to let that light shine brightly. We are part of the divine plan that is making a world that works for everyone, and for this, I'm so grateful. We send our light and love out to all those who are affected by the storm last night. We surround you. We bless you, and know that you are not alone. I also want to bless our speaker today, Travis Winden, and our music artist, Yvonne Smith, and everyone who has shown up to make this day a really blessed experience. So I'm very grateful for all who have shown up today. For this I'm grateful, and together we can say, and so it is.
And so it is. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sweeps the sky clean and lets the sun shine again. This is the most magnificent life has ever been. Here is heaven and earth and the brilliant sky in between. Blessed is this life, and I'm gonna celebrate being alive. Blessed is this life, and I'm gonna celebrate being alive. Afternoon and become the noise in the night. I trespass in temptation, suffer and sacrifice, but I awake each day with a new sunrise. Ba-da-boo-boo-boo, ba-da-boo-boo-boo, da-da-da-da-boo-boo-boo-boo, diddly-doo, ba-ba-boo-boo-boo-boo, ba-da-doo-doo-doo.
Good morning. My name is Alan Woodard. I am a practitioner here at the center, and I'm going to share one of my favorite readings from Ernest Holmes called We Can Talk to God, Principle and Practice. This reading tends to center me if something's been happening in my life, and I thought I want to share this with you. The greatest good that can come to us is the forming of an absolute certainty of ourselves and of our relationship to the universe, forever removing the sense of heaven as being outside ourselves, the fear of hell, or any future state of uncertainty. We are each a part of the life that is, some part of the eternal God. We are forever reaching out, forever gaining, growing, expanding. Spirit is forever incarnating itself in us. Such an understanding teaches us that there can never come a time when we shall stop progressing, that age is an illusion, that limitation is a mistake, that unhappiness is ignorance. We cannot be afraid when we know the truth. The greatest good accompanying such an understanding of truth will be the elimination of fear. This understanding will rob us of our loneliness and give us a sense of security which knows no fear, a peace without which no life can be happy, a poise that is founded on this peace, and a power which is the result of the union of peace and poise. We can be certain that there is an intelligence in the universe to which we may come, which will inspire and guide us, a love which overshadows. God is real to the one who believes in the Supreme Spirit, real to the soul which senses its unity with the whole. Every day and every hour, we are meeting the eternal realities of life. And in such degree as we cooperate with these eternal realities in love, in peace, in wisdom, and in joy, believing and receiving, we are automatically blessed. It is not by a terrific mental struggle or a soul strain that we arrive at this goal, but through a quiet expectation, a joyful anticipation, the calm recognition that all the peace there is, and all the power there is, and all the good there is love. The living Spirit Almighty. And so it is. And join me in a affirmative prayer, if you would, please. I know that there's one life, God's life, my life. And I'm surrounded by pure spirit, perfect law, divine order, limitless substance which intelligently responds to me. It is not only around me, but it is also in me. It is around and in everything. It is the essence of perfect action. It is perfect action in my affairs. Daily, I am guided by this divine intelligence. I am not allowed to make mistakes. I am compelled to make the right choice at the right time. There is no confusion in my mind, no doubt whatsoever. I am certain, expectant, and receptive, and I release this my word to the law, knowing it is so. I let it be so, and together we say, and so it is.
Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Some walls are made of stone. Sometimes we build our own.
Good morning, CSLN. If the whole world had that message, we could just all go home and close the building, you know? It's like, so, and of course, wouldn't I go off and forget my, Now, I've been coming to this center for about 2 years now. I think it was about 2 years in October. And most of you probably know me as a carpenter. And so just for those people that know me as a carpenter, to make you feel absolutely comfortable, I wore my carpenter suspenders just for you. Now, my mother used to tell me that a definition of an expert was a man 50 miles away from home with a briefcase. So just in case, I brought mine too. But seriously, you're somewhat kind of an expert in your own home. And I had this come up a few months back. My brother had called me from California, and we were just chit-chatting and talking. And I have a strong background in finance. I've traveled all over the country and spoken. I've had staffs that worked for me in finance, et cetera. And he was complaining to me, not complaining about his mutual funds making a lot of money, but he was complaining that the tax bill of that fund was, he got hit with $20,000, and he never took any money out of the fund. And so I said to him, I says, well, instead of investing in mutual funds, if you put your money in ETFs, you wouldn't have no tax bill at all. But again, he wouldn't contact his baby brother to ask him for that kind of advice. So it was rather expensive for him. But speaking of $20,000, I recently heard a little story by another pastor. I get a lot of great stories from other pastors, and he was sharing this lady her husband had passed away. And she was having lunch with a girlfriend, and this girlfriend, she was sharing with her and was complaining about not having enough money. And she goes, I don't understand. I thought your husband left you $20,000. And she says, well, he did, but the funeral was $5,000, and then the memorial stone was $15,000, and now the whole $20,000 is gone. And she says, wait a minute. She says, $15,000 for a memorial stone? She said, that must be one heck of a stone. And the lady held out her hand and said, it is, 3 carats. So, but seriously, if you'll take in the words I'm going to share from Ernest Holmes, this afternoon, today and this afternoon, if you'll be joining us for the workshop, $20,000 in your bank account will look like a 5th grader's lunch money. So, I've been a practicing religious scientist now for over half a century. I think I look pretty good for 100, huh? So, and what I can tell you about a religious science church is this is more of a law school than it is a church. I recall I was watching an episode recently of Law and Order. I know that's that's one of my indulgences. And one of the attorneys, she was going back to her law school where she had graduated from, and she was meeting with her professor, and she was talking to him and complaining about the education she got. She said, we had classes in contract law, and we never saw contract, and we never learned courtroom procedure. And when she got all wound down, he said to her, he says, this is a law school, not a lawyer school. We teach you how to think. And that's exactly what we do around here. We teach universal law, and we teach you how to think. In the words of Ramtha, you're all great thinkers now that we got you thinking. So, the title of my talk is Getting Your Divine Inheritance Out of Probate. And the universe knew that in order to do that, you'd need a good lawyer. And unfortunately, Ernest Holmes not available today, so the universe sent me. And I can tell you that spending 50 years in this teaching, Ernest has poured and poured and poured himself into me through his writings. And what I can guarantee you is I'm a damn good lawyer. So let's take a look at what Ernest had to say about what your divine inheritance is. AJ? There we go. The servant may become an heir. The will of God has been written by the invisible hand of reality. It is still in probate as far as most of us are concerned. It has never been completely. Perhaps we have been listening to the wrong counsel. We have accepted the false evidence of the senses. We have been cast into a prison of debts which might have been paid had we recognized the substance already belonged to us. We are a servant and not a son. Hence, we have not entered into the heirship. That changes today. No one in the reach of my voice will be able to say any longer that they are ignorant to what the law is. The heir must claim his inheritance. Otherwise, it is still kept for him, and he has not the use of it. He must step forward before the bar of justice, which is the law of cause and effect, and declare that he is no longer a servant, a slave, but a master, a son, an heir. He must announce that all the Father has is his. He lays claim to the true estate, laying claim in the name of God, the inheritance, that which had been kept in store for him, is delivered into his hands. Now, I'm reminded of a story of Neale Donald Walsch. I've spent quite a bit of time with Neale. His books have moved me very deeply. But before any of those books came out, Neale's life, he got up at about 2 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep, and he went looking for inspiration, but there was nothing to be found in the refrigerator. So he sat down, and when I say his life was in shambles, his health was failing, his relationship was failing, he was unemployed, and he was broke. So it kind of doesn't get much worse than that for most of us in this room. And so he started writing a rant to God. Why isn't my life working? What would it take to get it to work? And he was making a plea. He says, I played the game of life. I'll play. But just tell me what the rules are. Just tell me the damn rules. And I would say that most of us in this room have probably been in some variation of that in our life. And of course, in the ultimate law book for me, Science of Mind Text, of course, those answers that he was seeking are in here. However, at 2 o'clock in the morning, when you got a very, when things aren't working in your life, it's like, where do you begin searching in this book for the answers to that? And even if you found them, would you understand them? Around this place, we have some very talented practitioners that teach classes, and I would tell you what I've told my students for years. If you don't know everything about that book and where all the laws are, get your ass in class. So how many of you would be willing to lay claim to your divine inheritance today? How many of you would be willing to follow the law, or laws as the case may be, in order to have your divine inheritance delivered in your hands if I told you exactly what those laws are? So I'm going to start out, and I'm going to give you my definition, which was taught to me by my teacher, my definition of prosperity. Prosperity is having abundant health that this goddess being that we are by nature can fully express into the world. Prosperity is having our relationships be loving, nurturing, supportive, and they work all the time. Prosperity for me is having a vocation or a right livelihood that is so much fun to do that it's like going to Disneyland every day. And prosperity is being financially abundant, being able to buy anything you want without ever looking at a price tag just because you want it. You don't have to justify it for anybody or for any reason. And so these are the ones that my teacher, Ed Wien, had taught me more than 20 years ago. But I've added a fifth. And prosperity for me is having the ability to be anywhere on planet Earth that I want to be, just because I want to be there, for as long as I want to be there. Now, I have to thank Terry Cole Whitaker for this one. I listened to her probably about 20 years ago or so, and she said this, and this really resonated with me. So I've added that to the list. So with that working definition of that prosperity, would that for today, would that work for everybody here? So what are the laws that govern us living a prosperous life, as Ernest would put it, having our divine inheritance delivered into our hands? The first law is that we're required to acknowledge that God is our source. It isn't your employer that writes that paycheck. It isn't the government that sends you the check in the mail. And it isn't your mama, even though you're 30 years old living in her basement with no income. That is not your source. It used to be. Okay, there you go. I like that, John. So we have to acknowledge that God is our source. Now that requires it requires an action step. It requires us to step forward and say, okay, we really believe that. AJ, what's happening? There we go. And so what is that action step? There we go. So we are required to return 1/10 of all the universe brings us to the person, place, or institution where we are spiritually fed. I need to get a drink. It's called the tithe, T-I-T-H-E. And the word tithe, the root word is tenth. So let me say that again. The root word of tithe is tenth. Now, whoops, let me back up. Oh, no, I'm going too far. Going the wrong way, actually. There we go. Okay, here we go. So, most of you know me, know that I'm no Christian. And quite frankly, in my life, I don't hold the Bible in very high regard. However, I will acknowledge that some of it feeds me very deeply. And there is when it comes to tithing, that is covered, of course, in the Old Testament. And if you look in the Old Testament, most of the books, or I will say not most, many of the books are named after dudes. There's the book of Job and Ezekiel and Daniel and Amos and so on. Those are all dudes, but there's this hidden gem. It's the last book in the Old Testament, the book of Malachi. And that book isn't named after a dude, because I was thinking, who is this Malachi? Well, it turns out that's not a person. It's translated, Malachi means angel. And the angel spoke on this subject. And would you like to know what the angel had to say about tithing? Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, key word, that there may be meat in mine house, key phrase, and prove me now, key phrase, herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room to receive it. Now, what exactly does that mean? Let's unpack that a little bit. What are we talking about when we say storehouse? Well, obviously that's where the food is stored. Well, what kind of food are we talking about? Because of the meat in mine house, we're talking about spiritual food. And what is spiritual food? Even the very beginner truth student can recognize spiritual food. Spiritual food is that which causes us to remember the truth about who we are, which is the incarnation, the physical incarnation of the ever-living God. That's the truth about who we are. And so anything that causes you to remember that, that's spiritual food. But the interesting thing about this piece of scripture is the word "prove me now." That those just jump off the page, because this is the only place in the entire Bible where we are invited to prove God in our life. All the other places in the Bible, God is a given. Like in the beginning, God. There's no question about it. But here, we're actually invited to do that. So my tithing story began about 30 years ago. And when I began tithing, I was making about $20,000 a year. Now, that was more money, 30 years ago than it is now, but it still wasn't a lot of money even then. But I began tithing, and I didn't even know the law. I didn't even have a teacher. I just began doing it. I don't even know why, to tell you the truth. But my income in 6 months had doubled, and I kept tithing. And then by the end of the following year, the universe was returning to me $175,000 a year. I mean, and nothing changed in my life. My job didn't change. Nothing changed except my income. Now, let's get down to brass tacks about this tithing stuff. I get a lot of questions about that when I teach on that subject. And the question I get most often is, are we talking net or gross? I get that question every time. So, everybody take a deep breath. You're going to need it. Poke your neighbor and say it's gross, so get over it. The other question I get is, can I tithe 5% or 3% or some other percentage? And the answer is no. That does not activate the law. That doesn't fulfill the law. Now, it's a gift. And all giving is good, to be sure. Now, the other question I get is, well, what about giving money to a friend or or someone who needs it. That's a beautiful and wonderful thing to do too. However, that's not a tithe either. You're tithing to where you're spiritually fed. And of course, I get the question all the time. It's like, well, I don't know about tithing. I'm on a fixed income. And I love the way my teacher, Edwina, always answers that question, so I'll answer it like she does in her very Texas Southern accent. She says, if you're on a fixed income, sure, you fixed it. If you want to get it unfixed, you better start tithing because God doesn't know anything about a fixed income. So, pretty powerful words, but I can tell you it's transformed my life for sure. Now, tithing is not the whole law. The other thing that we're required to do is we're required to forgive everybody for everything every day. Now, for a lot of people that is very difficult, but in the workshop this afternoon, we're going to be talking about some forgiveness processes and exactly how to do that, because there's a lot of confusion about how you do this, because people don't, they talk about like you're supposed to forgive, but there's not a lot of instruction how, but we'll be going into that quite deeply in the workshop this afternoon. Number 3, we're required to set clear and measurable goals. Our only job in setting a goal is clarity and acceptance. How is none of our business. That is the divine activity of spirit. And I can tell you in examples in my life, and I'm sure in yours too, it's amazing some of how spirit works and unfolds certain things. And the fourth law that we are required to follow is, we'll discuss that in the workshop this afternoon. It's the easiest of all of them, and like I say, this is very simple, but it requires a little bit more explanation than I have time for here. I was sharing with Dada that when I originally did this talk, it was 45 minutes, and that was not going to work. So I want to give a short commercial for the workshop that is this afternoon. So I know that a lot of you had plans to, maybe go to lunch with friends or family, and that's no problem. You can invite them here. We're providing lunch. Some of you might have had plans with friends and with some friends and family. Like I said, you can invite them here. Some of you might have had plans to go watch some football, and that's no problem either, because ESPN will capture the highlights of that game, and they'll be showing it for the next 6 years. So you'll have plenty of time to see it. So I'm going to give hopefully give a quick review. No, that's not what I wanted at all. Where is? Maybe it is. I want to give a quick review of the 3 of the 4 spiritual laws that we're required to do. We're required to acknowledge that God is our source and return 10% of all that comes to us from the universe to the person, place, or institution where we're spiritually fed. If you're spiritually fed at this church, your tithe belongs here. The second is we are required to set clear and measurable goals. I had a boss that David Gala was his name, and he used to always say, you can't manage what you can't measure. So beyond setting those clear, measurable goals, we must do our forgiveness work daily. So those are the things that we're required to do to get our life to work. Now, when anytime I speak, and I don't have a lot of time, but anytime I speak, I like to have people have an opportunity to ask some questions if they have any. So this has to be, no story, just a laser question, but I probably have time for one or two if there's any out here. Speak now, and I'll get a mic to you if you. Anybody? Go ahead.
So you said giving money to your friends doesn't count, but what if your friends are how you are spiritually fed?
Okay, so if they spiritually feed you, but you're not giving to them because they need the money. There's mystics that say if you give to need, you'll get need back in your life. That's why you don't give the first tenth to charity. I want everybody to give to charity, I do, but not with the first tenth. That's sacred. That money belongs to God. So if they spiritually feed you, regardless of their financial condition, whether they're rich or poor, that's where some of that tithe belongs. So that's a very good question. Very good. Anybody else? Okay, I will. I trust that I will see all of you upstairs. We're going to have a great time, and we're going to have a wonderful lunch.
Thank you, Travis. So now is the time to give back to what serves us. If something has touched you today, there are many ways where you can share your love, share your gift with us. You can put it in the offering plate that's coming around. There's a QR code right in front of you in the sleeve. We have a gizmo in our bookstore or right out here in our lobby, or you can just get online and see our QR code, or you could send it to our street address. The ushers could come forward, please. For our online viewers, please look at the site. Mail your check. Please say with me. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So it is. Thank you for your loving gifts.
Thank you. And it is December 10th. It's getting close. So you'll have to bear with us because this is a CSLN Christmas tradition when we hear Yvonne Smith singing Merry Christmas, Darling. Enjoy.
Greeting cards have all been sent. The Christmas rush is through. But I still have one wish to make, a special one for you. Merry Christmas, darling. We're apart, that's true. But I can dream, and in my dreams I'm Christmasing with you. Holidays are joyful. There's always
Christmas.
Thank you, Yvonne. Sweet, sweet. Thank you, Larry. Thanks, the band. Thanks, Travis. You know, thank you, everyone, for showing up here today. Thank you for doing your part by just being present, by holding us in your heart, and just making this all happen. So we have a few brief announcements. And if you're ready to enjoy better relationships, better health, better success, more wealth, join Travis Winden today upstairs in the classroom for his workshop. In case y'all missed it, we have some great news. We're finally under contract. Yay. Yep. You know, it really kind of has come about effortlessly. You know, it seems like a long time, but it's right in perfect order. We expect that the closing to be at the end of February. So we still have a lot of work to do. I just want to, I don't see her right now, but I want to personally thank Karen McLaughlin for leading our decluttering team. They have done a phenomenal job. And as you go through the fellowship hall after service, make your way to all the things that are for you to take home and enjoy. Go to our Linden Library and find what touches your heart. You're welcome to take as many books as you would like. We're looking for a helper with our youth program. We have somebody lined up that's ready to be our paid worker, but we need somebody to be with them when they are with our kids. So it is moving forward. And if you have an interest in working with our kids, come and see me. If you'd like to know any more details about our announcements, they are on our website. Before we close, I'd like to thank our visitors who are here today. Please join us in the fellowship hall. We'd like to get to know you. And for everyone else, please just go skedaddle on in there and spend time with one another. That's what makes our community special. If you're watching online, I invite you to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Now I'd like to have any practitioners or speaker to come forward. And just to know if there's something heavy on your heart or if there's something in your heart's desire, please don't leave here today without allowing us the honor to assist you. If you have a health issue, or if there's something else troubling you, or you want to attract a new career or a new relationship, come see us. You can fill out a prayer request at the table in the front and put it in a secure box in the hallway. And now it's time for a closing treatment. Please know with me, there's just one source from which all things come. That source is God. That source is good. Know with me that the mind of God that created me created you, and I allowed this creative energy to flow through me and express by means of me. I invite you to do the same. Today I go forward knowing that everything that I am is increased. Greater joy, greater happiness, greater love is mine. I allow money to appear in all possible and unexpected ways. I do not worship it, nor do I over-evaluate it. I just see it as a means of exchange. I think in large and generous terms, realizing that my thinking determines my experience. I identify everything that I do with love and success, and I think affirmatively, and in all my prayers, I ask for abundance, I expect abundance, and I accept abundance. So whatever I need, whenever I need it, where I need it, for as long as I need it, I know that Spirit provides it. I claim that the action of the living Spirit prospers everything I do, increases every good I possess, and through me brings gladness and joy, happiness and peace, and success to everyone I meet. Everything I think about shall be animated by the divine presence, sustained by the infinite power, and multiplied by the divine goodness. My heart, our hearts beat as one. And it goes out to those who were impacted by last night's storm. Please know that you're with us in our prayers. My heart goes out to all who harbor feelings of distrust or dislike. May you find peace. With a grateful heart, I align my heart with Spirit's riches, and I am open to receive abundant blessings in all of my affairs. I'm grateful for this beloved community that I call home, and I'm grateful for this teaching that has shown me a way to live a life of love, peace, and joy. I'm grateful for all those who've come our way, knowing that we are doing this thing called life together, so let's make it the best life. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for all your presence. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Anna. Something's feeding back. Okay. There you are. Let's stand and sing our closing song. Come on. This is Put a Little Love in Your Heart.
Just wait.